All right, everyone, get ready, because today we are taking a deep dive into personality compatibility.
Ooh, sounds intriguing.
It is. We'll be using personality, NFTs, personality compatibility to guide us. So, is there a secret formula to finding that perfect match? Or is it all way more complicated than that?
Well, it's a question that's fascinated people forever, right? And honestly, the answer might surprise you. It all begins with understanding, like, what personality actually
Yeah,
is.
what is it exactly?
Like, think of it as your own unique fingerprint. It's the blend of all those traits and characteristics and behaviors that make you you, how you think, how you feel, how you deal with the world. And what's super interesting is it's this combo of nature and nurture.
So both genetics and our experiences shape who we are.
Exactly, both play a part, which makes it all the more fascinating, right? It's not just one or the other.
Absolutely. So we've got this unique mix that makes up our individual personalities. But how do we actually measure that? We can't just pull out a ruler, right?
Right. That's where all these personality models come in. They give us like a framework, a way to understand these complex patterns. We'll be looking at three main models today.
Oh, lay them on me.
All right, so we've got the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, the MBTI. Then we've got the Enneagram and the Big Five personality traits. Each one tackles personality from a slightly different angle, which makes this whole exploration so cool.
Okay, multiple perspectives. I like it.
Yeah.
Let's start with the one everyone seems to be talking about, the Myers-Briggs.
Yeah.
Why is it so useful for figuring out compatibility?
The MBTI is super helpful because it breaks down personality into these four key areas, right? Extroversion versus introversion, sensing versus intuition, thinking versus feeling, and judging versus perceiving.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack.
Right. But depending on your preferences in each of those areas, you get assigned one of 16 different personality types.
Yeah.
So knowing your type and your partners can give you a lot of insight into how you might interact.
So if you're like a super organized introvert who loves routine, you might clash with an extrovert who thrives on spontaneity.
You got it. But here's where it gets interesting. Sometimes those seemingly opposite types can actually complement each other really well.
Really? Opposites attract and all that.
Kind of. Let's take, for example, the INTP, often seen as the analytical thinker, and then the ENFJ, the empathetic feeler. On the surface, they seem like total opposites.
Like oil and water.
You could say that. But their differences actually create a strong foundation. The INTP's logic can kind of ground the ENFJ's emotions, and the ENFJ helps the INTP tap into their feelings and navigate social situations better. They bring balance to the relationship.
Wow, that's interesting. So it's not always about finding someone who's just like you. Sometimes those differences are what makes sparks fly. What are some other surprising pairings this MBTI chart reveals?
One interesting one is the ESTP, the energetic doer, and the INFJ, the insightful advocate. At first glance, they might seem like an odd couple. Well, ESTPs are all about action and living in the moment, while INFJs are more introspective and future-focused. But they challenge and inspire each other.
Okay, I'm starting to see it. Like, how do those differences play out?
Well, the ESTP can help the INFJ break out of their shell a little, take risks. And the INFJ encourages the ESTP to, think more deeply, consider the bigger picture. Their contrasting approaches can lead to personal growth for both of them.
So by understanding each other's MBTI type, they can actually leverage those differences and make the relationship even stronger.
Exactly. It's about understanding those dynamics and using them to your advantage.
I love that. But wait, we can't forget about the Enneagram. It seems to go even deeper than just personality preferences, right?
Absolutely. While the MBTI is more focused on how you do things, the Enneagram dives into the why behind your actions, your core motivations and fears and desires.
Oh, so it's more about the driving forces behind our actions.
Precisely. It helps you understand those deep-seated patterns that shape your behavior.
Okay, so how does that translate to understanding compatibility? Can you give me an example of how knowing your Enneagram type could shed light on your relationships?
Sure. Let's take Enneagram Type 9, the peacemaker.
Okay, peacemaker. I like it already.
Right. They're all about harmony, avoiding conflict. In relationships, this makes them easygoing and adaptable partners. They see everyone's perspective, finding common ground, which sounds amazing on paper. But there can be challenges too, especially when they're with someone more assertive.
I can see that. If you're always trying to please everyone, your own needs might get lost in the shuffle.
Exactly. Say a Type 9 is with a Type 8, the challenger,
Right.
who's way more direct and confrontational. That Type 9 might constantly give in just to avoid conflict, which can lead to resentment and unmet needs down the line. But understanding those dynamics ahead of time can help both partners navigate those challenges.
Wow, that's a powerful example. It shows how important it is to know not just your own type, but your partner's as well.
Right. It's about understanding how your core motivations and fears might interact, and using that knowledge to build a stronger, more fulfilling connection.
Mind blown. This is already making me rethink some of my past relationships. But before I go down that rabbit hole, we've got one more model to cover. The Big Five. How does that play into this whole compatibility puzzle?
The Big Five kind of takes a wider lens, focusing on five broad dimensions: openness to experience, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. And the interesting thing is sometimes a little contrast in these areas can actually be good for compatibility.
Really? I always thought finding someone similar to you was the key. What makes you say that?
Well, let's take conscientiousness, for example. Research shows that couples who are a little different on this scale actually tend to have more balanced relationships. Imagine one partner's super organized, always on top of things, while the other is more laid back and flexible.
That makes sense. The organized one keeps everything running smoothly, and the more relaxed one brings a sense of ease, a little spontaneity to the relationship. It's all about balance.
Exactly. They kind of complement each other's strengths and weaknesses. Plus, think about how they might approach tasks together, right? The organized one creates the detailed plan, and the flexible one helps them adapt when things change unexpectedly.
They each bring something unique to the table. I love that. So it's not always about finding someone who's a mirror image of you, but someone who brings something different, something that complements your own personality.
Absolutely. And this whole concept applies to other Big Five traits as well. Take extroversion, for instance. If one partner is super social, a real butterfly, and the other's more introverted, they can actually help each other find a good balance.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. How so?
Well, the extrovert might encourage their partner to step outside their comfort zone sometimes, and the introvert can offer a calming presence, a listening ear.
Yeah, like a built-in support system that really gets your needs.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance that works for both people, allowing each person to thrive and grow, both individually and as a couple.
So we've got these three powerful models, the MBTI with those distinct types, the Enneagram with its focus on motivations, and the Big Five looking at these broad personality dimensions. It feels like each one gives us a unique piece of the compatibility puzzle, right?
That's a great way to put it. They each offer a different lens to view personality through. And while they offer a lot of insights, it's important to remember they're not like crystal balls. They're not predicting relationship success.
Okay, so don't go running off to take these tests thinking you'll suddenly have all the answers.
Exactly. Think of them more like roadmaps. They can guide you, but you're still the one choosing your path.
I like that. So we're not just slaves to our personality types. We have the power to choose.
Absolutely. Every relationship is unique, and things like communication style, shared values, personal growth, even just plain chemistry, those play a huge role too.
It's a mix of so many different factors that can make or break a connection, not just the personality types.
Exactly. Understanding personality is a crucial piece of the puzzle, but it's just one piece.
This has been super eye-opening. I feel like I've got this whole new toolkit to understand relationships better.
Me too. It's exciting to see how all these pieces fit together. And remember, we're just scratching the surface here. The world of personality and compatibility is vast.
So what's the main takeaway for our listeners? What should they walk away with from this deep dive?
The key takeaway, I think, is that understanding personality, both yours and others, can be incredibly empowering.
How so?
Well, it can help you communicate more effectively, navigate conflict with empathy, and ultimately build stronger, more fulfilling relationships. And not just romantic ones, but in all areas of life.
So whether you're looking for love, trying to be a better teammate at work, or just wanting to know yourself better, exploring these models can be a total game changer.
Totally. It's about getting those insights that help you navigate all those complex human interactions with more awareness and compassion.
I'm already feeling inspired to dig deeper, learn more about my own personality, and how it impacts my interactions with everyone around me.
That's the spirit. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep those conversations going. The more we understand ourselves and each other, the more fulfilling our connections will be.
Before we wrap up, I want to go back to something you said earlier. The idea that true compatibility might actually go beyond these personality categories, these neat little boxes we like to put people in.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, these models were super helpful, but they don't capture everything about human connection.
Think about your closest relationships, right? The people you feel most comfortable with, the ones who make you laugh, who push you to be your best self. Do their personality types perfectly align with yours? Probably not.
It's a great point. I mean, so often it's those intangible qualities that create the strongest bonds. Shared values, mutual respect, a genuine desire to see each other succeed, those things go way beyond personality types.
Totally. Sometimes those deep connections defy all the rules and expectations.
Exactly. So while understanding personality is helpful, it's not the only factor.
Okay, so what's the final message, the thing we want to leave our listeners with?
Embrace the complexity of human nature. Don't let those personality labels define you or limit your potential for connection. Keep learning, keep exploring, and most importantly, trust your gut when it comes to those truly compatible connections.
Beautifully said. So everyone, go take those personality tests, explore those compatibility charts, have those fun conversations about all your quirks and preferences. But remember to look beyond those labels and really listen to your heart. Sometimes the most amazing connections are the ones that defy all the expectations.
Wow, this has been a truly fascinating deep dive, wouldn't you say? I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of this whole personality compatibility thing, though.
It really is a deep rabbit hole. There's always something new to discover, but I think this has been a great starting point for our listeners, a good overview.
For sure. So for anyone listening who's feeling inspired to keep learning, where should they go from here? What would you suggest? Well, personality compatibility by Personality NFT is a great resource, like really helpful for anyone who wants to dive deeper. It covers all the models we talked about today and a lot more. It really gives a solid understanding of the whole topic.
And there are like a ton of personality tests online too, right?
Oh yeah, tons. But it's so important to approach those with an open mind. Like we said, this is about self-discovery, not putting yourself in a box.
Right, getting those insights, but not letting labels define us.
Exactly. And the more you understand your own personality, the more you can see how it plays out with everyone else around you.
This has been so eye-opening. I feel like I have a totally new understanding of relationships, not just romantic ones, but like all of them.
Me too. It's amazing what we can learn just by paying attention to those patterns,
Yeah.
in ourselves and everyone else.
And the best part, we can use this knowledge to communicate better, deal with conflict better, and just build stronger connections all around.
Absolutely. It's all about creating a more, harmonious world, right?
So to everyone listening, keep exploring this stuff, keep asking questions, and keep talking about it.
Yeah. The more we understand ourselves and each other, the better our lives will be.
It's been great having you here today. Thanks for sharing all this knowledge with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
This has been The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us.